But first, we've got to discuss more important.
Very important.
Yes.
Hey, Skip, before we go, Skip, can we do like the old Ludacris song, Atlanta? Stand up.
Ooh.
Georgia, stand up this morning.
All right.
We looking good.
Yeah.
Reverend Warnock and John Ossoff.
Yeah.
All right. We are going to get to LeBron. We'll get to Kawhi. We will get to the Cowboys. But as Skip mentioned, some news away from the court that's very important we do address today. LeBron and many athletes responded to the news that no charges would be filed against the officers involved in the shooting of Jacob Blake. LeBron said it was, quote, a blow to the heart and to the gut, not only to that community, but to us and to every Black person that has been a part of this process and seeing these outcomes for so long. Teammate and Wisconsin native Wesley Matthews called it, quote, truly disheartening, especially with all the work everybody had put in. Matthews also said several times, quote, this cannot deter us. So, Shannon, what was your reaction to what LeBron and Wesley Matthews had to say last night?
The exact sentiment that they shared. Skip, I'm disappointed, but I'm not surprised. But we will be dogged in our approach to continue this fight to make sure Blacks and disenfranchised and minorities have the same protections in America as the others. That's it. Skip, no more, no less. That's all we want. We want equal protection of what we're supposed to have because we're citizens just like everyone else. So we're not going to be deterred. And you see what's happening, Skip. You see what's happening across America. These athletes are starting to speak out. These entertainers and more people are becoming involved in the process. They're voting in record numbers because they told us that now our vote matters. And we're starting to see that our vote does matter because we see the other side fighting so hard to keep us from voting.
Yep.
So they tell us that our vote matters. Okay, so what have we done, Skip? We got President-elect Biden. We gonna get him in office. It looks like we're gonna have control of the Senate. We have control of the House. Now, I don't want to hear anymore, well, we wanted to, but Mitch McConnell blocked us. We wanted to, but this one happened. You have control of both houses. You have the president. Now it's time to see some laws get put in place that offer protections for minorities in this country. No more excuses. Skip, why should we be surprised? I think sometimes, Skip, what happens is that we get a George Floyd situation. It's right there and for the viewing public to see. And he get charged. You say, yeah, okay, we good now. But that's 1 in 100,000. What about the Tamir Rices? What about the ones that didn't? What about Breonna Taylor? So it's just so fun. And I'm reading this and I'm like, why am I not surprised by this? Black America, are we really surprised? We're disappointed, but we're not surprised because we knew the outcome was going to be this. He could have potentially had something where they're willing to ask and they'll reason and they'll be rational in their thought process if it's someone of their race that looks like them, that talks like them. They're so rational. Calm down. Okay, let me talk. That's not how they do us. They shoot first, ask questions later, knowing with that qualified immunity. Now, Skip, it's not gonna be easy because you know how those police unions, they're strong and they have a protection. Unless he leaves a manifesto that says, yes, I'm going out and I'm going to shoot this and this, nothing's going to happen. And at some point in time, when you spend hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in settlements, shouldn't that say, you know what, we got to change something here. We're spending out hundreds of millions of dollars every year in these settlements. But as LeBron and Wesley Matthews so eloquently laid out, we're going to be undeterred in this. If you think we're going away, we're not. We're going to continue to turn out in droves. We're going to continue to vote, and we're going to continue to put people in place that says we want better for America. But why should we be surprised, Skip? It's been going on for 402 years now. And here's the thing, before I turn it over to you, Skip. Until America deals with this cancer, and the cancer is race. That's what it's always been. That's how America was founded. It's always been separate. You judge, you look at your skin, and that's why blacks were slaves, and the Native Americans, so it was always did that. So you can't go, I go to the doctor, Skip, and he tells me I have this debilitating disease and not cancer. And he says, Mr. Sharp, we're not gonna treat you, we're not gonna talk about it, and maybe it goes away. Because that's how America has done with race for 400 years. We're not going to talk about it. It'll just go away. And it's been festering, and it boiled over with the George Floyd. But change is going to come. Dr. King says it might not happen overnight. And it's gone on, it's gone on longer than what it should, Skip. But we're going to keep fighting, and we're going to get eventually, we're going to get, like he said, we're going to get to the mountaintop where we get treated fair. We get fair representation. But I'm so proud of what Georgia had done yesterday. I'm so disappointed in what happened in Wisconsin yesterday. While I was disappointed on one side, I was excited on the other. But President Biden, you on notice, bro. Now, you said you made all these promises.
He did.
If you do this, we're going to get these $2,000 stimulus checks, and we're going to get $15 an hour minimum wage, and we're going to protect that. Okay. The first 100 days, let's see some of that happen. And not that bull jive that Tim Scott put before us, that week legislation on police reform. We don't want any of that. Mitch McConnell, I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. Lindsey Graham, I want to hear nothing you got to say. I want action. We want action. We demand action.
By the way, Dr. King said change is going to come like in 1965.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, what about your watching, I think, was in 63.
Okay. Here we are.
Here we are.
Okay. So I agree with your conclusion. Last night was a lot of mixed emotions. Yesterday was a lot of mixed emotions. Some very positive, some extremely negative.
Yes.
But I'm just going to gauge and judge the reactions of these star players on both fronts, on the Jacob Blake front and then on the Kelly Loeffler front in your home state. Jacob Blake, reading LeBron's quotes, tweets, posts, Wesley Matthews, I sense the usual resignation, but it felt different this time. It didn't feel hopeless resignation. It felt a little more hopeful resignation, a little more resolve in the resignation, right?
Right.
Like, okay, here we go again. Is anybody surprised? Nobody's surprised.
No.
But I still felt some new bits and pieces of progress and